episode of Dexter's Diary. What's up, what's up, what's up? Happy belated Father's Day to all you wonderful dads out there. And for the rest of you, go see your kids. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been talking about mental health and being open and vocal about what you're going through, living your truth, and not allowing yourself to be stigmatized. This week, however, I want to broach on something a little bit different. And everything I tell you about is literally things that I've been going through, hence Dexter's Diary. So, you guys know, if you've been following since day one, and I hope you have, that last summer I got laid off, and it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It allowed me to refocus, recalibrate, and reassess where I was in my life and what needed to be worked on and what I needed to let go and jumpstart a different part in my life. And it was dope. It was great. And I decided in December, that I wanted to start working. And actually like December, January. So it's been about 6 months I've been working. I'm not working in the same field I was working in before, which is pharmacy, because it's so freaking intrusive. Like, it takes over your life, whether you want it to or not. And it was not something I felt like at this point in my life I was willing to embark on again. So I did something different, and I'm not really working with a lot of people, which is what I wanted. And I'm working less hours, which is what I wanted, because I didn't want to, again, focus everything for a company that I just wasn't invested in. And my biggest investment and your biggest investment is always in yourself. And if working for a company is something that works for you, then go ahead and do it. For me, I just felt like at this point in my life, I had given up so much. I was reclaiming my time. You know what I mean? Like, let's get it all back. And so it's been 6 months, and I'm cool. To be completely honest, though, I don't know if this is going to be a long-term thing for me. I just feel like for now it fits, and till it doesn't, I mean, I'm qualified to work so many jobs, so it's not really a big issue for me. Right now, my thing is developing my vision and working on bettering myself and all of what that encompasses. And this is what I want to talk about today. There are going to be times when, whatever your vision is, and I don't claim to know, that's your secret or whatever you have, and I don't know who you've shared it with, but there are going to be times, a lot of times we look at, and I just skipped over, but a lot of times we look at people in fields that we're interested in or things that we're good at, and we see other people who are excelling, and you see all the great parts, but what you don't see is the nitty-gritty stuff, the work they put in, the what's the word I'm looking for? Crap. What is the word I'm looking for? I just lost it. It was like right there. We all have those moments. The research, the behind the scenes stuff that they put in, the hours that they put in to bettering whatever their vision is, and to really get a grasp of the concept and all that stuff. Like, you don't see all that stuff. You see all the great and the end product, and it may make you feel a kind of way. And I know that in this age of social media, like, it's so easy for us to see that part, the end product, and become discouraged. And it's just like, don't focus on that part. When you are working on something that is meaningful to you, something that you really want to make tangible, don't focus on other people. I try my best, and I know like for me it's a challenge, but I try my best to not look at the work that other people do, because number one, I feel like I don't want to infringe on that. I don't want that to be something that I incorporate, and then it's like, oh, you stole my shit, and it's like, no, that's not what happened. Like, I don't, certain things I just try to avoid, and I try not to look at, because I know that my timetable is not the same as somebody else. They may have been at it a lot longer. They may have had different opportunities. They may have gone up a different avenue to get where they need to get. And I'm not, I don't claim to know what those are. I can only speak for what I'm doing and the work that I'm doing for myself. Everything that I look at is, how do I expand myself? How do I become a better person? How do I become bigger, outwardly and inwardly, and reach more people? Because I feel like I didn't start this platform for notoriety. I started it because, number one, I felt like it was important. Number two, I felt like we did not see enough people who look like us. When I look at motivational speakers and things like, most of them tend to be older for some reason, and it's nothing against them. I think they're wonderful. I think they're dope, and I find them to be inspiring, and I hope to get to that age and still be living in my truth and working on my craft and helping people at such an immense level that it's baffling, you know what I mean? But I don't focus on where they're at now. I'm like, at one point they were where I was at, like, I think that's why, like, for those of us who are in a different bracket, and I mean bracket overall, I'm not talking about just a tax bracket, I mean like people of color, disenfranchised, so on and so forth, whatever. We look to these stories of people who look like us and who've made it to some pinnacle in their career, and it's inspiring. Like, I think Serena is bomb. I think Serena is bomb.com, Serena Williams. I look at Cardi B and I'm like, all right, sis, like, I see you doing it. And she gets a lot of mixed press from different people because they feel whatever. That's not my issue. I can look at her and I can see parts of her story that I can assimilate with, and I understand when she posts certain things. I'm like, all right, like, I get that. Like, I look at different people and I take what I can get from them, and then everything else, blinders on, because it does not have anything to do with what I'm doing or where I'm looking to go. So you gotta take what you can get and use that as your inspiration and stay true to your vision. There are gonna be times when you feel discouraged. There are gonna be times when you feel like, am I doing enough? Am I not doing enough? Am I overdoing it? Why am I not getting there? Everything has its time, and I know people like to act like there's these overnight successes and things like that. It's not true. A lot of times people have been putting in the work for years. They've been fostering these connections for years. We may not have heard of them on our forefront, but they've been putting in the work. It's just now. I remember when Cardi used to post videos like in her room, in her bed, just talking shit. Like, this was like years ago, and my homeboy actually hit me to her, and I was like, oh, like, she's funny. But that was years ago, and look where she's at now. Like, it takes time. It's not gonna happen overnight. And for her, it may seem like it happened overnight, but it didn't. And for many people, it may seem like it happened overnight, but it didn't. Like, you look at Amazon, you look at Steve Jobs, like, people have started things in their garage and they are now billion-dollar companies and corporations, and it's great. But those days when they were in the garage and they were really hustling, like, nobody really knew about them. But they stayed true to their vision, you know, and that's one thing that I want to talk about. Like, when I talk about living your truth and changing the narrative, it's like those moments when you feel like you're almost defeated, like, switch that up. Those moments when you feel like you can give up, switch that up. Everybody at some point has felt like they can give up. Everybody at some point has felt like they can walk away, whether it's from life, a job, a partner, yourself, and you just gotta stick it out. Like, sometimes it's like right over that hill, right over that mountain. But if you don't keep climbing, you're not gonna see what's on the other side. If you get halfway up the mountain, you're like, no, this ain't for me. Like, you're not gonna see what's on the other side. And the victory of getting to the top is amazing. Think of the small victories in your life. Think of the small steps that you've made and how good those felt. Imagine adding 100 more steps and getting further and further, how that would feel. Like, I could have gave up. I could have just walked away. I could have just, like I told you last week, when I was at rock bottom, like, sleeping on the floor and roaches crawling by, like, yo, what's up, boo? And I'm like, hey, Stan. I don't know what the roach's name was, but that was his name at the time. And for me, that was my lowest point. And so there are times when I feel like, even now, you know, there are times that I can be a bit discouraged, not to the point of wanting to end my life. Thankfully, I've gone so far past that, you know. But even now, like I said, there are times when I feel like maybe I should just, and not so much give up, but yeah, change direction. Maybe I should go this way. And those are moments of reassessing and recalibrating. And that's what I call it. Like, all right, if I feel like this, what is it? What else can I be doing to better myself? What else can I be doing to become a better person or whatever? Like, what else can I be doing to be grander than what I'm doing now? Like, that's what I take it as. I don't take it as, oh, I'm a freaking failure and I'm not good enough, or, you know, like, those are the thoughts I used to have before. But your mind is bananas. And I keep saying that, like, your mind, until you force yourself, and it's really about forcing and reinforcing yourself, your thinking patterns, and the way that you do things, because it's so easy to flip back. You have to always be on point, because your brain goes back into the pattern that it's most comfortable with, because it thinks like it's protecting you, and it's not. It's really not. When they say mind over matter, there's a reason for that, because the mind, where the mind goes, the body follows. And anything that you want to do is a concept in your head. Every idea, every birth of an idea, everything that you see now happened in someone's head, and they put it on paper and they drew it out and made it happen. And now it's the Empire State Building on 34th Street, or it's the pyramids in Egypt or Mexico, because there's pyramids out there too. It's sneakers on your feet. It's whatever. It's the microwave. It's all these different things, a guitar, alcohol, whatever, clothing, like everything. These earrings are a concept that somebody saw in their mind and like, let me make this, and now it's reality. Everything happens here first. All the change that I talk about happens here first, and your mind will flip the switch. Every time that you want to change something that seems like, oh, nah, like, this it seems like a good idea, but are we going to be able to do this? And your mind will talk you out of it. Things will happen, and once that happens, everything else falls into sync. Everything else, when you notice when you're negative, everything negative falls in sync to reinforce that negativity. But when you're happy, the same thing happens, but it's so much easier for a lot of us to be negative and allow all that to reinforce the fact that why we feel how we feel. We're changing the narrative. We're not doing that. So if you feel unhappy, figure out what the root of your unhappiness is. Like, it can't just be today's a horrible day and everyone hates me. It's not the truth. It's you saying that everyone hates you. Everyone doesn't hate you. First of all, everybody don't know you. You're so vain. You probably think this comment is about you. Everyone doesn't know you. It's impossible for everyone to hate you. Like, get a grip. It's not that serious. Like, scale it back. Why do you feel how you feel? Go back and pinpoint where all this is coming from and fix that part. Or figure out how you're going to fix that part, because fixing it would mean like get a nail and a hammer and then it's fixed. It doesn't relatively happen that quickly. But like when you're happy and everything else reinforces that happiness, think about those days too. Like, it cannot just be one thing. It cannot just be because everyone's against you. That's not the truth. 9 times out of 10, you're unhappy, whether it's about the way you're living your life, whether it's your health, whether it's your spouse, whatever it can be. It can be a plethora of things. It can be anything. Whatever that you're unhappy about, you can fix. You can fix. And you can tell your brain, listen, stop. We're not going to do this. We are not going to do this. You're not going to have me out here feeling crazy for no particular reason. It's up to you. Stay true to your vision. Do not be discouraged, and know that anything that you deem your reality everything else is gonna fall into place to reinforce that. So if you're happy about something, everything else is gonna. When people are in love, everything in the world looks amazing. The moment you go through a breakup, you're disgusted. It's the same theory in life. If whatever you do, everything that happens reinforces that. If you're doing good, and it's not to say like it's gonna be 100%, but it'll at least be 70 to 80% of things that'll fall into place for you. We always leave room for error, because nothing is 100%, except for 100%, but that's a whole other story. I always get so anyway, and that's the thing. Stay true to your vision. Don't be discouraged by that, and know that you have the power to change whatever your reality is, and that's really what it is. The body follows the mind, and everything else follows suit. The moment that you say that it's everyone else's fault, you're giving away your power. You're giving away accountability, and you're giving everything else to someone else, and they have control. You no longer have control over what you've been working with. And what fun is that? Why would I want to give my power to somebody else and let them have control over my life? That doesn't make sense. I am the creator of my vision. I am the creator of everything that goes on in my life. And that too is about taking accountability for your vision. But that's a whole nother talk. We might discuss that next week. But for right now, know that the work that you're doing, it counts. It counts in the long run, and it counts towards you getting to the top of that mountain and seeing the other side. It totally counts. Do not let other people's lies take the inspiration and take it as inspiration. Like, I can be that big. I can be that grand. I can be that person. I can, not that particular person, but if it's a PhD, like, you can get a PhD, you can get your doctorate, you can be a scientist, you can be a singer, everyone can do this within that space. But all that took time. All of that took blood, sweat, and tears. All those people put in the work. So yeah, you're seeing the end result, but know that in the background, there was a lot of things that had to be done. It's like a play. You know, when you see the play, you see all the finished product and it's beautiful and it's amazing. But that hours of practice that happened before that, if you've ever been in a play, and I'm sure many of you have taken drama, I would hope if you didn't, it was dope. But anyway, when you're putting on a play, whether it's a school play or Broadway or whatever, there's so much work that goes into that. Like, there's so many times that people get hurt in the back before the show even happens because you're doing all this stuff and moving around, and trying to learn your lines. Like, it's so much work, but the end product is so amazing. So think about it like that. Like, you are the director of your play. Know that there are gonna be so many days of rehearsal before you actually debut. But baby, when that debut comes, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be bananas. And you're gonna be so glad that you didn't give up. So keep directing your play, all right? I love you. I'll see you next.